Well, before writing or preaching, St. Thomas Aquinas would say a prayer that began with this sentence: O Creator of the universe, who has set the stars in the heavens and causes the sun to rise and set, shed the light of your wisdom into the darkness of my mind. Today's epistle to the Corinthians is so full of the light of God's wisdom that it overwhelms me. Therefore, I've chosen just to focus on a thread, on just one verse that has always caught my attention. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. We have all heard this insistent cry from children: look at me, look at me, look at me. I remember babysitting my young nieces, and they would climb up a high sliding board in the playground, and before going down, they would shout over to catch my attention, look at me, look at me. Essentially, they were saying, I need to be seen. I have something important to share with you. Now, many of us make that insistent cry long after we outgrow the playground. We continue to say, look at me, as adults, through our cars, our clothes, our jobs, even our friends. Every day we see those who are in sports, entertainment, and advertising worlds, all trying to get more eyeballs or viewers, all shouting like the children, look at me, I need to be seen. Now, in our secular life, this self-centered behavior is actually helpful in getting the attention we want and the attention we believe we actually deserve. But where this self-centered behavior is not helpful, where it is dangerous to us, is in our religious life. For our religious life is where the attention needs to be solely on Christ. A Christ-centered life begins in the home and the church, for it is there where mature Christian adults demonstrate what it means to study, to learn, to worship, and to pray. It is there where children learn to put away childish things. If children don't receive such religious modeling and mentoring, then they will likely find it difficult to quiet life's distractions and hear Christ saying to them, look at me. I have something important to share with you. Now, unfortunately, for most children, despite home and church, their religious life will be severely tested when they go off to schools and seminaries that are often led to people who have not yet put away childish things, who have not learned to build a Christ-centered life. So let's consider some examples. Here's a quote from Dr. Serene Jones, the president of Union Theological Seminary, which was founded in 1836. She has a PhD in theology from Yale. Now, she declares that the foundation of her theology is, quote, the necessity of our interconnecting breath, the importance of struggling for justice, the beauty of mercy, and the importance and the ultimate importance and power of love. End of quote. Now, if Christ and the Bible are not her theological foundation, then where do they fit in her theology? I guess, as someone sarcastically said, theology is a device for allowing agnostics to remain in the church. When someone says to you that they have built the foundation of their Christian faith on interconnecting breath, the first thing that should come to your mind is a warning about a foolish man which built his house upon the sand. And then to build it upon breath is probably even more dangerous. Well, I hope anyone who is here at church today to build their faith on interconnecting breath will also return for some interconnecting chewing on Shrove Tuesday. The next example of people in high places who have not put away childish things demonstrates that theology also allows atheists to remain within the church. A few years ago at Harvard, whose original motto was Truth for Christ and the Church, the school's chaplains chose a secular humanist and atheist Greg Epstein as their chief chaplain. He justified his selection by saying, quote, "There is a rising group of people who no longer identify with any religious tradition, but still experience a real need for conversation, interconnecting breath, and support around what it means to be a good human and live an ethical life. We don't look to a God for answers. We are each other's answers." End of quote. This should remind us of another verse from the Gospel according to St. Matthew. "Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves." The secular humanist chaplain is telling the sheep they don't need the true shepherd, that the flock can take care of itself under his guidance. He is the ravening wolf, but this time he comes in shepherd's clothing. He is crying out, "Look at me, for I am the chief chaplain who will not burden you with Christ." Leaders like him who eliminate God from their lives can ravage the religious life of those around them. And those that follow them, despite all outward appearances of success and honors, will only continue to speak, understand, and think as a child. Today, when we read the bidding prayer, please give special attention to that verse which says, "Ye shall pray for all schools, colleges, and seminaries of sound and godly learning, and for all whose hands are open for their maintenance, that whatsoever tends to the advancement of true religion and useful learning may forever flourish and abound." During Lent, through prayer, fasting, and meditation, let us work to put away those childish things that are still in our life, so we can clearly hear our Lord say, "Look at me. I have something important to share with you." In the name of the Father, the Son,